It's July 13th, which means history is rolling up its sleeves, flexing its muscles, and reminding us that every calendar date is just a well-dressed chaos machine. From revolutionary stabbings to landmark legislation, sports riots to city blackouts, and even a brush with divine intervention via Trump's ear, July 13 has seen it all. Welcome to Klepper's Corner, Today in History, the only news segment that proves time doesn't heal all wounds, it just gets better at trolling us. Segment 1, let's rewind to 1787. The United States was still in its baby's first democracy phase, and Congress passed the Northwest Ordinance. This was America's IKEA manual for how to build new states. 3 stages, no rights, some rights, and then full statehood, assuming you survived dysentery. It banned slavery in the Northwest Territory, an early federal anti-slavery stance. Of course, this didn't mean freedom for everyone. It also promised not to steal native lands unless they got consent. And if you believe that, I have some property in the Louisiana Purchase to sell you. It set up public education, trial by jury, and civil rights, but also set the precedent for the federal government saying one thing about native rights and doing the exact opposite. So, a mixed bag. Progress for settlers, displacement for indigenous tribes, and a subtle preview of America's long career in selective liberation. Segment 2, fast forward to 1793. It's France, heads are rolling like bocce balls, and Jean-Paul Marat, the French Revolution's most extra influencer, is taking his bath. Marat was the Robespierre of hot takes, printing daily death wish lists in his paper L'Ami du Peuple. He had a skin condition, so he edited from his bath like the world's deadliest Epsom salt commercial. Enter Charlotte Corday, Girondist sympathizer, royalist fangirl, and aspiring assassin. She gets access to Marat by pretending she has names of enemies. Instead, she has a knife. She stabs him in the tub, he dies dramatically, and France collectively freaks out. Instead of calming the revolution, this just made Marat a martyr. Artists painted him like bathtub Jesus. The Jacobins go full bloodbath mode. It's like trying to put out a bonfire with gasoline and a eulogy. Segment 3, July 13, 1863. New York City explodes, not metaphorically, but full riot mode. The Civil War draft had begun, and poor Irish immigrants found out the rich could buy their way out for $300. That didn't sit well. Add in fears that freed slaves would take their jobs, and you have a Molotov cocktail of resentment. Draft offices were destroyed. Then things took a deadly racial turn. Black citizens were targeted, homes and businesses torched. An orphanage for black children was burned to the ground, 119 dead, over 2,000 injured. Federal troops had to be pulled from Gettysburg. That's right, Lincoln literally had to hit pause on beating the Confederacy to deal with a riot in New York. If the Confederacy wanted a distraction, they got it for free. And it shows how thin the line is between civic unrest and full societal meltdown when fear and inequality mix. Segment 4. Let's cleanse the palate with soccer. On July 13, 1930, Uruguay hosted the first FIFA World Cup. 13 countries participated, mostly because travel back then involved steamboats, malaria, and a strong tolerance for seasickness. France beat Mexico 4-1. The U.S. beat Belgium 3-0. And if you're shocked, America once won at soccer, remember it was the 30s. Nobody knew what they were doing yet. Uruguay won the final against Argentina. Cue national holiday. Cue rocks thrown at the Uruguayan consulate in Buenos Aires. Yes, even early World Cups ended in fan riots. The legacy? The World Cup became a global obsession. Soccer moved from pastime to political soft power. And every 4 years, the world gets together to scream at referees and cry into their flags. Segment 5. In 1949, the Vatican got spicy. Pope Pius XII issued a decree. If you're Catholic and also a communist, congratulations, you're excommunicated. This wasn't about Marxist memes. This was serious Cold War theology. Communism was atheistic, materialistic, and state-controlled. The Pope said, pick your deity, God or Stalin. It was a bold move. The Vatican had no army, but it had the fear of eternal damnation, which, let's be honest, is more effective than sanctions. It also kicked off decades of Catholic versus communist chess matches in Eastern Europe. Priests were jailed, churches shuttered, and the Cold War had one more ideological wrinkle. Jesus doesn't do 5-year plans. Segment 6. Now we move to the UK, 1955. Ruth Ellis became the last woman hanged in Britain after killing her abusive boyfriend, David Blakely. Her case was a media circus. She was blonde, glamorous, and tragic. The public watched in morbid fascination as her story unfolded like a noir screenplay. She admitted intent. The law said automatic death penalty. But the backlash was huge. People said, wait, is this justice or just judicial theater? Her execution sparked massive public debate and eventually helped lead to abolishing the death penalty for murder. Sometimes history doesn't change because of philosophers or activists, but because the tabloids can't stop printing headlines like "Killer in Lipstick." Segment 7, 1977, New York City goes dark. Literally. A lightning storm took out the grid, and for 25 hours, it was Gotham without Batman. Instead of the kumbaya unity of the 1965 blackout, this one turned into a free-for-all. Looting, fires, arson, nearly 4,000 arrested, $1 billion in damages, entire neighborhoods torched. This wasn't just a power outage, it was society pulling its emergency brake and realizing there were no seatbelts. The blackout exposed just how frayed the city's social fabric had become. Economic despair, urban decay, and a general sense of no one's coming to help. And you thought your power going out for an hour was bad. Segment 8, 1985, Live Aid, the concert to end all concerts. London and Philly, 1.5 billion people tuned in. Queen rocked Wembley. Bono kicked off his eternal savior complex. This was activism by power cord. Millions raised for Ethiopian famine relief. Western governments pressured to send food aid. It was global charity as global spectacle. Sure, some of the aid systems were flawed, but Live Aid showed how celebrities could use fame to influence global policy. And also that Freddie Mercury in a white tank top could save more lives than the UN in a fiscal year. Segment 9, 2015, Sandra Bland was found dead in a Texas jail cell 3 days after a traffic stop. Official ruling, suicide. Public reaction, outrage. She was arrested for failing to signal a lane change. The situation escalated quickly. Her own cell phone video later emerged, so did dashcam footage with edits. Her death became a rallying cry for Say Her Name and the Black Lives Matter movement, and led to the Sandra Bland Act in Texas addressing de-escalation, mental health screening, and transparency. Her story reveals the terrifying reality. Even basic legal rights can vanish at a traffic stop, and justice can disappear somewhere between a dashcam edit and a press release. Segment 10, and finally, July 13, 2024. Donald Trump survives an assassination attempt. A bullet grazes his ear. The internet loses its mind. Trump pumps his fist like a WWE comeback. America collectively exclaims, "Of course this happened." The Secret Service was criticized for leaving a building unguarded with a clear shot to the stage. 6 agents were suspended. Director resigned. No firings. So basically, government HR doing its thing. Trump claimed he was saved by God. Biden dropped out of the race. Harris stepped in. And Trump's polling jumped as if divine endorsement was now a ballot issue. The whole episode blurred tragedy, politics, and performance art. And if you think that's cynical, congratulations. You've been paying attention to 2020's America. So that was July 13th, where founding documents coexist with rioting draft dodgers, pop stars feed nations, and bathtub assassinations are considered campaign strategy. It's a date that proves history isn't written by the victors. It's written by whoever gets there with a pen, a camera, or in Trump's case, a bandage and a slogan. I'm Jordan Klepper, and remember, if you wake up on July 13th, maybe just stay inside.